We've been planning. I had to bring the toilet in because I had to run. I gotta run this pipe before I throw these sheets down, and this is gonna catch all the dryer stuff going outside of the trailer. So right now, I'm working on putting everything together. Alright. So basically this is going to connect to the outside. I'm using PVC because less joints, less chance of lint building up, water, all kinds of other reasons. I actually wish I had done it in my house. And it's a white PVC. Oh, that's on there. Look at that. There we go. This is the gray stuff. And we're gonna throw this in. We brought the hot water tank in. Haven't been here for a few days. Gas prices are crazy. But here we are. So this is just an adapter. Remember, you always twist it on, and we get a nice seal. So this is going to be able to accept, I think that, yeah, it was for there. It was for that end. I had to MacGyver a bunch of stuff together. And so that end, and then this is going to go into that, and that's going to go to the vent on the wall outside, which is going to end up like that, basically. So when the dryer is on, it's venting out. So we needed the adapter for this end here. So that's the next part we're going to glue together. There's been a lot of MacGyvering on this job because a lot of the stuff nowadays isn't made the same way. So somebody had put a vent going outside up top here, but when you're doing any kind of venting, like for a dryer, you want it to vent down and out, not up and out, because it has a longer place of travel, for one, and it can get clogged easier going up and out. So now we can take that off. And see how, like when I said you twist it? Look at how that glue nicely goes around. Gets a really good seal. So that's going to go against the wall like this. And then that's going to go like that, up and out. And we made a spot right behind the toilet So we're not really losing a whole lot of space because we wanted to make the area very spacious. So when you're sitting down, there's basically going to be a wall right there, right? I'm a big guy, so I got good movement here. And so between 17 inches and over is what we're going to need. There's going to be a washer dryer here somewhere, but we're going to be putting a box right back here. So basically, it's going to come up just above where the dryer is, which is somewhere here, and it's going to vent in. But that's for the new, this pipe is going to be the extension of that. So we're just going to come up like that and out. So when we have our dryer, it just vents into this pipe and goes out through the floor. That's the whole point of that. So there was a lot of, it's hard to plan it when you don't have anything in place, right? So we put the water tank in place. I put the toilet in place. So, because this is a flush tank, it's going to go right beside. So we can hide a little box here going to the ceiling to be uniform. But at least it's not impeding the person on the toilet. It's about 6 inches wide. So the edge of the box is basically going to be the edge of this pipe. So when I'm sitting down, I'm nowhere near that box. I have still full range of motion. The dryer's not too close to me. And they're going to be stacking it on top here. So that's what's going on there. Anyways, we might as well glue this 90 onto it. Because with this we're going to need well, did I jammed that on there without gluing it. There. Got it off, use the pipe for leverage. We're not completely stuck. So this one I can just glue on there. And we should be pretty good here. Using that gray PVC glue. Hey, I want to thank everybody on this channel. Thanks for subscribing, liking, and sharing. We finally hit 6,500 people. I'll put this down for a second. And that's kind of like a little milestone. We've broken past 5,000. On our way to 10,000, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty good. I like that. We started the channel in, I think it was 2022 or something. I don't know. It wasn't crazy long ago. There, we can let that dry now. Got a nice glue seam. And that basically is going to be the pipe that runs under the trailer to the outside. And that's going to be the vent pipe. Just going to connect like so. I might have. Wait a minute. No, I might have to cut this one more time. Just now that I think about it. Yeah, that's gonna work. Because I think I did measure it with that piece on there. Yeah, I did measure it with that piece on there. I have to make sure because these sheets are moving 1.5 inches over once I nail them down. And so from that mark we got, this pipe is going to come up. And then we're going to have another vent somewhere here. Where this is connected by a 90. I have another 90 here somewhere. Anyways, that's the point of that. So once that's in the floor, it's in the floor. And there isn't too much we need to. I'm pretty sure I had a 90 back here. If not, it doesn't matter because I can get it later. That's not the issue. It's just getting it into the floor and putting it where it needs to go. So we got that. We got this. And basically all I got left, put this hot water tank back where it's going to go. So usually jobs like this are quick when you have plans and you're not just monkey ass figuring things out in the last minute, like as you're going. That's where I feel like a lot of people don't really get what's going on. Right? Usually you are you just build it and follow the plan and you're good. Right? But here we are figuring out drainage, figuring out plumbing. The floor is reinforced. There used to be a pedestal this thing sat on, but now this can sit right on the floor. I might have even made a video of the previous work I had to do to patch this. I'm not sure. But yeah, so now that we've got that figured out, I could probably just get rid of this toilet. I don't need it in here anymore. We've marked out lots of stuff. We've even moved the plumbing. I'm wondering if that's a good idea. Yeah, because you can just reach in behind the toilet. I figured when you have a nice toilet, we might as well hide the plumbing. There's no point in having the plumbing sticking out right here when we could just move it over roughly behind the toilet. And then you can always access it from either side. It's literally, it'll look nice and clean. As opposed to right now, you can see that blue mark. If you look, not at the Hello Kitty, but there's a blue mark on the floor. That blue mark is where the plumbing used to be, but I moved it behind the toilet by 2 inches. So that plumbing can be a little more hidden, right? Because we don't need that, right? So like if somebody comes, if the homeowner comes and is like, oh, all you did was mark out the floor? Well, you didn't get me a set of plans, did you? Yes, that's all I did. I had to mark out where the walls are going, where the floor is going, where the pipe is going, where the plumbing is going, and all of that. Because we're just fixing something that was existingly falling apart. We've got the layout of the toilet better. So now I can actually just move this thing out of the way. smarter, not harder. I'm actually gonna turn this around like this. Oh yes. Oh, it doesn't like to fit like that, does it? It wants to fall through. So we have to do this. And then we'll put the tank on top of that. Custom. Put that in there. And all of that can be rolled out. And then now I can rough in the plumbing coming up. We'll have to drill a hole. That's sitting on the joist. No, it's gonna be right beside. Actually, where I was gonna drill was actually not bad. I'm gonna drill right there. That's right beside the joist. Right there. Oh, and I got a giant hole for a 1/2-inch pipe. I just realized I drilled that too big. That's for 3/4. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We can spray foam that, right? So, toilet pipe's coming up there. Basically, I gotta make it so it's a little bit bigger underneath. And we can go from there. Oh my god. Keep running my head over shit. Alright, I guess I'm gonna put something down to get this toilet out of here. Job is really starting to annoy me. Right, at least that's out of the way. I need this. Got everything roughly roughed in. This can go back. Put that back. We can, I can figure this part out after, because I still got to run a piece of ABS like this with the drain on it. And I guess I should do it now. Just because I have to mark out where the stud goes. And I need my long level for that. I need to push this plywood kind of back in place where it's going to go. See, this is why. Normally I sheet a floor, nail it down, then the plumbing gets done after. But I got to do all this before I sheet it, before I put it down. Because if I don't do it, then you're crawling underneath the goddamn trailer. You're crawling underneath the fucking trailer trying to figure out shit, which is 100% even more stupid than this. And then everyone's complaining that it's not getting done. It's not a normal job. This is 1000% not normal to have to do this. Shouldn't have gotten to this point where we gotta rebuild everything. Putting in sheets before I even put in walls. Gotta figure that out. Figure out all the plumbing. And now, because I'm putting that stud right back to where it was, because we already planned around all of that. You need to know. Oh, it's going to be an inch and a half over too. See, the things I have to remember just to do this. So now I put that mark on the floor. I also have to remember I have to move that mark an inch and a half back, because when it moves this way, it needs to be an inch and a half exactly where it is, right? So this is how we're going to do that. Where we made that mark, we're just going to put the square like so. Before the stud was on this side, but when I push the sheet, it's going to end up right here. So the first stud goes right there. Who does that? I don't know. Stupid people who take on stupid jobs. So that's where that stud's going to be when the whole sheet moves inch and a half, because we literally have all the walls right now propped up. Look at this. I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me move the camera down. James says hi. See that stud down there? That's literally sitting on its side, technically mimicking the sheet and the inch and a half plate that's going to go back onto the floor. So if I take this square, that will fit underneath. And right now that's holding up this wall. So I have to remember that I'm moving all these sheets. This sheet here, that sheet over there, that sheet over there, and that sheet over there, and this sheet are all moving an inch and a half over. So every measurement I make has to be in the mentality that I'm moving everything an inch and a half that way. Because the only way to reframe this trailer properly is to be able to have the plywood under the walls. or I would have to rip all the plywood, but then the studs wouldn't be sitting on 3-inch plates. So I have to make the plates, I have to make the studs, and I have to move everything into position to go underneath the walls. So since that back half of the house is already sitting on a plate, from basically where the camera is all the way to here, that's like 10 feet, is sitting on that temporarily. Just so that, you know, they could have a wall right now. So there we are with that craziness. This is honestly the most chaotic job I've had to deal with in a long time. You know, with it being winter and snow and everything else. You know what I might just do? I think I'm going to just run a 3/4 to there and then just branch it off with 1.5 inches. That's what I'm going to do. Because now I got to move the sheet out of the way. Now that we got that figured out. And this way I can run some more plumbing. Because right now we've pretty much got everything ran. Look at this. Got this plumbing in the floor done. This one for a bib outside, out that way, so that we can run a garden hose. Now I just got to run should I run 3/4 to there? I guess since I have it already 3/4, I can. And I think that's 1.5 inches over there. I gotta make a little spot here. So everything's hooked up. I just gonna need to cut this pipe, attach that to there. That one's already done underneath. And then this is going to be underneath there. I'd like to reuse this if I possibly can, but it might be almost impossible. Just because of how it's already made. I'm trying to make a drain for the hot water tank so that if you want to drain it, it just drains down into the existing plumbing that's already here. So, anyways, I guess for now, let's just run cold water. I guess it's going to be under the wall. There's no need to go 3/4 all the way. I can just do splice this pipe here and then cold water up the floor. Got to make it 1.5 inches longer. I ran out of rings last time. I need one of those. I bought some new rings. Everything I need is right here, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna throw these back on. My cutters are in this bucket. Here's some more rings. And I guess I can, I was short 90s last time. Let's just make sure I'm using up the stuff that I don't need right now. Okay, so from this, we're going to come up 4 inches. I mean 6 inches. I wrote it on the floor here. And won't put that on, won't put the shut off on yet. Because you want to run it through the floor right after. Okay, there's 2 90s left in there. There's my cutters. There's my so that's 190. Yeah, you can bend the pipe, but this is going to be easier at this point because, so there's a new pack of 90s. I'm going to be using up this 3/4 T and the T. Let me bring this camera over so you guys can see a little better what's going on. Now this way you get a better view of what we're doing here. It's almost like up close and personal. Because we're trying to get to here. So I could turn the light on here, plug that in. You guys got a decent view. Grab our clamps. So I'm going to be putting my 3/4 to inch and a half to half-inch T right here, and then we're going to run that pipe, and it's going to come up through here, basically, somewhere there. So let's clamp everything together. I personally hate PEX. I don't think it's a good product for your health. As much as people be like, Jack, you're being silly. Like, there's a reason why we used copper for so long. When you're doing your PEX pipe, when you clamp your PEX pipe, you want to put your piece in, and you want to leave like about that much space from the end. You also want to make sure the PEX is sitting nice, and that's how you clamp it. Come on. And I like to clamp it more than once, just to get a good, proper seal all the way around it. So that's going to come up like that. So one of the reasons why I don't like PEX is because if you've ever seen plastic sitting in water over a period of time, it kind of becomes a little slimy, you know, because algae will build up. So that's why I don't like PEX. It doesn't really kill bacteria. It's plastic. It basically makes it gives it a good breeding ground. This one, I'm actually just going to pull it to this side. To clamp it, but what I've learned is I should actually clamp the pipe onto the T first, because it's hard to get in between the joists. So that's basically what we're gonna do. I probably could. I had no way of nailing it to anything. Should just realistically, I should just, because technically it could have went underneath like that, but I had no way of supporting that pipe, so I should just drill a hole through this double. Let's kind of fit it in place roughly. So we're going to go 1.5 inches past the hole, which is right there. That's where the pipe needs to end up. So if I go boom, I can cut it to somewhere there. At least that way. That way when I clamp this in place, just put that on, clamp it, and then I'm good to go. Right now, because all the rest of the pipe down line is in the right spot, I'm going to take that little bit of a difference out. So I can see from a business standpoint that PEX is good for, you don't have to have a lot of skill to put this in, you just need to clamp rings and you're done, right? The only thing you need to know is where you're going to run shit. And probably going to hit nails going through that. Because I nailed the shit out of this. Because there's no hanger, right? I didn't put any hangers because I'm trying to save money for the client. I usually would put hangers on it, but that's extra money, right? So we should be able to route that through there. And let's see how we do. We got the flex. Ah, my ankle. Jesus. We got the flex drill. Now that we know that we're also going to be hanging that pipe for it's about 3 inches off of here. That pipe is going to come back 14 from here. And then 3 inches. Well, at least it misses all the plumbing. That's pretty good. Like I said, there's a lot of fucking planning in this. I literally got to cut a hole through the plastic and run that PVC out underneath this hot water tank. And then hang it from, what's it called here? Hang it using all around wire screwed to the joists. And then that's going to come up through that hole. A lot of planning. A lot of planning. Alright, let's drill this hole. We have an inch bit that we don't care about. Look at that. We also got a 1/2 inch bit. Maybe we'll add another. It's not big enough for that. So it's 1/2 inch for the middle. I need just. Problem with using this one is there is no broken. Basically, that's the best way to explain it. This has a lock here. This one's missing the lock, but it still locks in place. Let's see how good this flex drill does. I hit the other button, that's why. If you hit the other button, I'm fucking up that bit for sure. Because I hit a nail. Oh, it's Henny Cat. Hey, Henny Cat. How you doing, buddy? Henny Cat's hanging out. He's like, I'm here to help. He's here to help. Cut through that nail, that's for sure. I'm pretty sure we mangled the bit though. It's actually not bad. Yeah, you can see the nail. There. So now, our pipe is going to go through. Is it too long? We might have made it too long. Whatever. I can always cut it. It's not a big deal. So for now, take one of our 1/2-inch rings, clamp it first. There. And I can always turn that how I need it. And that'll just sit. For whatever, I guess I went from here, from the second pipe over. That's what I did. Alright, now, what I'm going to do is push this 3/4 out of the way, put this ring on it. This way. I can just attach to there, but bam. And now, see what I meant by attaching that pipe first? I moved it. Let's move it all the way over here. I don't like how usually you'll be able to stand off of a ladder to do this shit, but now I gotta balance in a hole. Moving as I'm trying to clamp it. Want it in the right spot. There we go. That's nicely clamped. And since I can move this one freely, oh, it's also longer because it's basically got to go through this hole. And I gotta clamp this one. It's gonna be 1.5 inches longer now that I'm looking at the planning. Yeah, that works out. It's a good thing I thought about that before I cut it, because then it would be too short for the hole. So now I can install this piece and lay it sideways. And then before I lay the sheet down, I can stuff it up through the hole. What a pain in the ass, though, I can tell you. I've never in my entire career had to wear knee pads till now. There. So later I can flip this up. It'll come through that hole perfectly, but for now I'll just leave it down. And then I can feed this through. It actually seems a bit long. I don't like that, but hey. Now let's take our other ring. I probably could have cut a ½ inch off of that or more. Should I do it now? It'll make my life easier. I think I should do it now. I'll just have to put a new 90 on. It's going to be too long. So let's run this to where it needs to go. And that means if I mark the pipe itself, then I can kind of measure the ½ inch to an inch and a half. That's actually an inch and a half right there. So I was an inch too long. Yeah. Alright, whatever. Whatever, that's... I'll cut another one of these. I'll reuse this 90 later. I'll just melt it off. But for now, I need a little more than okay, so that's like that. Let's do this. 6 inches. So I need 9 1/4. Holy fuck. 9 1/4 is basically where my hand is. Alright, let's do that over again. At least this way we're not. It's just going to be easier to do it now than it is to do it later. Let me trim this a little nicer here. Maybe just a little bit smoother. That's fine. I got a little bit of flex in that pipe. Pipe looks like it's on an angle. There. It's not seating properly. Pull it out. I want that 90 to sit nice and flat. I can see how guys who got all the like fancy tools, this makes their life a lot easier because then we're going to clamp these pipes. You just use a machine, right? It's just like, you need no strength to do it. Oh, what did I did that backwards. Well, not necessarily. I should have clamped this fucking pipe before I stuck it in the hole. Just made my life a little bit harder. Talking about the pipe that's basically what's going to come up through the hole. I should have clamped that before I put it down. So now I can still do it. There. Now, we can slide that under, bring this up, connect it to the big guy. Alright, there we go. See, that shouldn't have taken that long, but given the circumstances. Now, we've got the toilet feed in the right spot because we're going to move that sheet out 1.5 inches. And then that is just going to, as we lay the sheet down, we'll turn the pipe up, run it through the hole, and we should be good. We should be good. Alright. Now, I could even just throw a little clamp. Technically, I don't really need one. So we already got one there. I can put one on this joist underneath. And then that'll stop any vibration once we're done. I think we got clamp there, so that's pretty good. It's not bad. Grab my hammer. Nail that clamp up against there. That's good. Okay. So the next thing, so we got that. We got to move all this shit just to put in that dryer vent pipe. And that guy's going to come up here somewhere. Because I wrote 3.5, I think it was. Yeah, it was off of here. Why, hello, Henny Cat. 3 inches off of this mark. That's the wall. 3 inches. That's center. Center. I'm gonna put a blue mark just so I know. Ooh, vent upside down. Because now this pipe has to go in the floor underneath that yellow shit, so that's where it's going to come up, right there somewhere. So what I should do is just use a marker. Just mark it roughly, because I'm going to attach to this beam here with that all around. We're going to wrap the pipe through, and it's going to be held there, and another point over here underneath this hot water tank. But for now, just make sure that's in the right spot. So when we drill our hole, it's nice and clean. So we use that plywood. Okay, we also got to remember we're moving. This is the thing. It's not just screw it down, put it in place. So the center of this hole is 1 1 1 1/4. 1 3/4 center, 1 3/4, yeah. 1 3/4 center. So now I'm moving the whole thing 1.5 inches. So that's how much the plywood's going to move. 1.5 inches. And that's going to be the center. So from this plywood to here is 12 1/4. Well, hi, Henny Cat. What are you up to, buddy? So 12 1/4 from this edge, 12 1/4. Because originally this mark is the center that's already there, but we got to move it 1.5 inches this way. And that is exactly 1.5 inches right there. So this is center of vent. Center of vent. So center of vent and center of vent right there. You know, I should actually use the other pipe because this is wider than that pipe. pretty much where that pipe is going to be coming up. There. And that should be the hole we got to drill. Now, I also got to drill a hole going out, which is going to be interesting. Because now we got to come down to that, which is 14 1/4. Plus 5/8. Pretty sure that's what we are here. 5/8. 5/8. So it's 14 7/8. Yeah. 7/8 is the distance between the top of the floor to that. Then plus, because I got to make sure I have enough to go underneath this beam, which that is underneath the beam. That's basically tied to the beam. Alright, well the good thing is this section of the floor is open, so I am going to need the vent. Should I even mark it? 14. Let's just call it 15. 15 inches. Down. 15 inches down. And 3 inches over from this mark. Which is 2 by 4 from that mark. Man, you can see why this is brain racking, right? Everything has to be perfect in this sense. Because if it isn't, it ain't going to work out the way you want it to. And I think before I move, I should actually run the pipes perfectly, because I have to bring the hot water tank through the floor down, and I need it at the right height first. Alright, okay, that's so much going on, right? You gotta think of this, you gotta think of that. So, because we have to run right there, there's a hole, cold water up with the shut off to there, and then this other pipe that is just above that tank, the second one here, that's the hot water, and that's going to come down, and there's another hole right beside that bag that's got to go through. So essentially, this guy, is this the only piece I got? Essentially, I gotta move this second sheet. This is why. It's not just go, go, go. It's like, oh, go, go, slow. So we got to move this sheet over kind of figure out this plumbing, because all of this has to be clamped as I'm putting the sheets down. That's the best part. Now I don't want to leave several joints, that's the thing, right? I could technically run the pipe up through the floor and just have a cutoff. But I literally got to throw this 1x4 in after. There's a 1x4 that ends on that sheet, so is it going to be long enough is the next question. It's basically going to go 12 feet. It might just be enough. I think I cut them. I think they are 12 feet, so. I don't know if you can see those notches under the sheet here. Right here. There's a notch right there. There's a piece of 1x4 that goes across. Kind of like, you see that one there? There's another one here, and it's right on the 4-foot seam of this sheet. That's the beauty of what we're working with. All right. I'm pretty sure I have another 90 somewhere for this. But right now, I'm going to put this aside. I don't need it right now. Alright, what else? So that's done. We got to drill that hole. We're going to have to run a stack up from the bottom of that. And I'm telling them they're going to need to put tile down in here. So we're going to have to put a backer on top of this OSB. Just because of the water damage they've had in the past. It's always better to have, what do you call it? Tile down. Okay, I won't need that right now. Won't need this. Let's put that away. This away. Let's get rid of all the stuff we don't need right now. Yeah, I think the best thing is just to put a little fucking stub sticking through and then build this after. But I do have to run another piece of cold. Let's move this vacuum for now. We can at least get it roughly where we need it. This is basically what we're doing here. So there's that cold water. That's gonna sit there. And I guess I should really just hook them up in a way. See, I can't get to the other one, so I have to move the fucking tank, no matter what I do. The tank's just in the way. And that's where that 1x4 notch is going, right? So we put in these boxes ready to I guess what I'm gonna do is just run the cold water down here. Have it come up, off, because I also have to think about, I gotta nail this, fasten it to the wall somehow. And I can't do that until I build the wall. So, if the stub is just sticking out of the floor, wait a minute. I got this one. This one's cold right here. Okay. Okay, I gotta re-engineer what I want my. This water is live right now. I've got water in it. That comes up through. So okay, that'll just literally just gotta basically right now the water. Again, we gotta engineer this in a way what I'm trying to do is so that when we shut off the water here, all the water going out is shut off. So you don't have to go around. You can shut it off in the room. Where before they had the shut off underneath the hot water tank, which made no sense because you can see the marks from when the shut off was hitting the tank. That was the other issue. So right now the cold water comes up and I am at 6 inches. 6 inches right there. Six inches. Right here somewhere. And so from here to the center of that, if I can even find the center of that the way I have to maneuver this tape. I have this piece of wood here that was straight from the floor where it's cut off. I have 14 7/8. So from here to here, 14 7. And 7. So it's almost under the hot water tank. That's the center. So I'm going to have to come up 90 and bring it right out here. That would just make sense. And then it will come up, feed back down to there, feed back down to there. Yeah. That's what I have to do. 90. That's just to avoid it from being under the hot water tank. Because I know that there's a wall. It's going to be a little tiny wall, but it's a wall. And, oh, I almost forgot. So that's like that. And we need 1.5 inches over. So that's where the hole has to end up. But wait a minute. Nope, I'm wrong. It's going to come back. Right here. The hole has to be there. So when the plywood moves, it'll be right here. And hopefully I've done all that to everything else. Yeah. Alright, let's drill that other hole. That's the best. 90 up, boom. Then this guy's gonna kind of go over here and down. Then everything gets fed. Yeah. That's the only way. So much stuff to do. So much stuff to remember. So yeah, 90 off of that. Then we'll have. I gotta have a little like 6-inch pipe sticking out because I need to be able to clamp it above the floor. All right, let's see. We're gonna, like how electrician marks everything out. This is cold water because it's blue. That way they know that that's the main. Main pipe. All right. Is this glued in? This is not glued in. And you know it's not because you never glued it in. I'm going to also have to cut out part of the floor here. That's for the drain. Oh, but that's going to move 1.5 inches too. You see, this is the thing. If I just throw sheets down, I'll be screwing my life up, making it so much harder to do all of this. If I don't do this right the first time, I'm like making massive mistakes. I guess what I can do is put those supporting blocks on the outside. Because I have to hold up the wall while I move the plywood underneath. Gotta remove all this, move the plywood to where it needs to go. And then figure everything out. Oh boy. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Gotta finish throwing this piece in. After we shut the main off. I gotta run that. Oh, there's so much stuff to do, it's crazy. There's so much stuff that has to be done at the same time. So we've got the drain for the tub. We've got the main coming up. The other main feeding back down. Oh, and then we gotta put our dryer vent going out here. Joe Ortiz. And you guys are awesome. Thank you guys for watching. We've only been doing this for 1 hour and 30 minutes. My brain is just like not loving it. I kind of feel like I gotta bring that tub in. I should at least get it close enough. Alright, I think I'm going to take a break for a minute. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to organize a few things. I'm going to come back and make another video. Let me turn this light off so you're not getting blinded by it. I'm going to start another live. I'm just going to kind of organize a few things here because I need to figure out where to make sure that the plumbing for the tub is perfect. Because once I start slapping this plywood down, it ain't coming back up. It's down forever. So, I'll be right back. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. Texas Mickey Jack, loving life, living life. We always have some kind of thing going on here, and right now we're working on trying to close this floor for the finale here. But at this point, I need to still run the venting for the what do you call it? Oh my god, my brain hurts just thinking so much. For the dryer vent. And I gotta move this plywood to do the dryer vent. And I gotta make sure that all the plumbing's gonna end up where it needs to go for the tub, so that I can close the floor and I can finish up any little bits of framing and whatnot. So I'm gonna make a video in about like 20 or 30 minutes. I'm probably gonna pull the tub out of the box and kind of figure it out from there. I just want to make sure that it's the right size. There's no way of doing that in the small space where the tub is sitting, so that's what I'm going to do. Thanks for watching. You guys have a great day, and we'll be right back.